Happy Sunday, friends. I'm not going to lie, I am exhausted. Let me know if you're in the same boat, but here we are still plugging along. It might not be a full oomph today, but we're going to give it our all with what we have. And so that brings me to my next point. If you have 5% to give in that day and you give 5%, you have given 100%. Can I get an amen to that? For any of you feeling like, I can't work out today, I can't show up on Facebook, Instagram, I can't, do this with my kids because I don't feel 100%, it's not always going to be the thing. Okay, now let's get into what we're talking about today. This is not true. Okay, something I used to live by when I was in college, and I had this mindset of, I'm going to eat. Well, first of all, I said, if I'm going to run and exercise for X amount of time, and I never really calculated how many calories burned I was burning, but I knew if I'm going to be sweating this much, I'm going to be exerting this amount of energy for X amount of time, I am allowed to have a whole pizza, or I'm allowed to have my Nutter Butters and my chicken fingers. Oh my God, those were the days let me know in the comments if you lived in the dorms in college and it was just nothing but crap that they offered, but it was delicious. And so you would go to the rec center, you get your workout in, you come back and you'd fuel up with a whole bunch of junk. That's just what we did. So anyhow, with that whole mindset of I'm going to burn off my calories, I'd rather enjoy my food and exercise even more. Let me know in the comments if that is the mindset you have currently, if you used to have it, if you know people that have that mindset, and I'm here to talk you through all of it and why that really is not an accurate statement, okay? You cannot burn off, you can't get away with eating whatever just because you are burning X amount of calories. And that's where this whole concept of calories in versus calories out is just out the window. And it drives me bonkers when these coaches are saying CICO or whatever, hashtag CICO, calories in versus calories out. It is not that simple, okay? So to go back to it, it's all relative, right? So if you have never known how many calories you've been consuming, you've been eating nothing but junk, you've been overeating, you've been under moving, and you decide, I'm going to take a calorie counting approach, I am going to make sure that I am eating a lot less and I am moving more. Initially, you're going to see results. It's going to be fantastic. And you're going to think, this is the way to do it. Calorie counting is the way to do it. But in all reality, that is not going to work long term. So it's good to get you going. It's good to understand, yes, we should not be over consuming calories. We should be consuming the right types of calories, both with ingredients and with our macronutrient balance, not exact amounts. It doesn't have to be that way. Because I myself have never tracked any of that. I don't take that approach with my clients and they have much success. So with that, you focus on the basics first, right? But most of you who follow this platform have been very aware of macronutrient balance, prioritizing protein, not having a boatload of carbs if you're trying to burn fat and lose weight. So most of us are in that boat, right? But I think some of us still feel, okay, well, if I'm going to eat this not so healthy meal, I'm just going to work out extra and that will burn it off and that will be just fine. And my body is going to be in the same state as it would have been if I would have chosen the healthier food and not exercised, okay? But that's completely false. Reminder, we lose weight from what goes in our pie hole, okay? We do not lose weight from just exercising. Yes, there's a little bit that goes into it because it can rev up our metabolism, all of that, but really the food is the part that we really want to focus on if we are serious about losing weight. moving as well, but it doesn't have to be super strenuous. It doesn't have to be super regimented. It's just, okay, we need to really hone in on ingredients, blood sugar, and really focus on prioritizing protein in that meal. And so when we eat, let's say you do have this mindset and you are thinking, okay, I love one time a day, I love having, my sugary treat. And that's just what I want to do, but I work my ass off. I'm a CrossFitter, and so it's all good. It's all balanced out. Okay, let's take a look at that. So you're eating a food, let's say once a day, even if you're doing it like every other day, and you're having one meal minimum. And I'm sure there are many people out here that are doing it every day, sometimes more than once a day, and they're having something that is high glycemic. Okay, so when you eat a high glycemic food, it's going to spike your blood sugar very quickly. It's digested quickly, so it spikes your blood sugar up. Pancreas releases insulin to bring your blood sugar back down. And then usually for a lot of us over time, your blood sugar is going to drop extra low instead of coming back to a normal range. And that is not going to be good because you're going to feel super lethargic. You're going to be extra hungry. You're going to be shaky, like I need food now, I need food now. When you're low blood sugar, you are going to be craving very quick, simple carbs because that's just how the body is, So it's a vicious cycle. So if you are up and down, over time, that leads to insulin resistance, meaning you are always in the presence of insulin. When you're always in the presence of insulin, you cannot burn fat efficiently. So if you're constantly, let's say you're still eating within your caloric range, but you're eating these high glycemic meals because you think, well, I really want to enjoy my meal, but I'm just going to work it off and I'm going to work my ass off and it'll be fine. But you're having these blood sugar issues. And then, so now we have elevated insulin. We are in a fat storage zone mode, if you will, because of insulin always being present. And then now you're going to exercise and you're trying to just kill yourself. Now we're jacking up cortisol because you're just like, I gotta do more. I gotta sweat. I gotta be disgustingly like beat red in the face. And now elevated cortisol, and you're wondering why the belly fat, okay? So again, calories, that's not what we need to be focusing on. There are so many other things to be focusing on, not the calories, okay? Macros definitely need to be prioritized. Now, with that being said, this is all about balance, okay? So I had a discussion with Danielle today. I actually just posted about her new cookbook in my story. So she has a food blog. She's an incredible chef. She does not focus on like super, super healthy. It's gluten-free, dairy-free, some of her recipes. But we had this discussion because, I said, well, you can have that balance. You can enjoy these high glycemic foods, but you want to make sure you're very strategic about it and do it in moderation. Now, in moderation to me is not once a day. It is like once a week, and in the initial stages at least. And so what you want to do is you want to have that high glycemic meal when your body is moving around. So before or after exercise, that's going to be ideal. But again, you're still going to have more of a blood sugar surge spike, if you will, than having it, not so unhealthy. So it's all a balancing act. You want to be able to enjoy the foods you really love, the real deal, the real cheeseburger with a real bun. I get it. There's a time and a place, but you have to look where your body is in the current state, what your goals are. And if you are not close to your goal yet, then in my opinion, you need to be even tighter on these deviations in the initial stages. So the first few months, when I'm working with clients and they're already asking, okay, so when can I have cheat meals? You're going to let's not worry about the cheat meal because we're not restricting, we're finding alternatives to what you're craving. So you tell me that you're craving some ice cream. Okay, well, I'm going to give you a recipe that's going to fit the bill, but it's going to be higher protein. It's not going to be as high sugar, and we're going to eat it in a very strategic manner. So you're still going to be able to maintain healthy blood sugar. And then, when we're further along, your body becomes way more efficient at fat burning. That's when you can have these deviations a little bit more frequently. I myself, the way I eat in this year, in my 41st year of life, is far different than the first year that I started my journey when I was 19. And, I was always an athlete. And I wish back in the day I had so many more pictures, but I really don't have barely any pictures. But my body, when I was an athlete and before I got into the whole world of nutrition. So I did, when I went off to college, when I was 19, 18. That's when I started really honing in on my nutrition. But before then, I was super active. I was the one that was running 3 miles after practice. I'd have a 3-hour volleyball practice. I'd get home before dinner. Well, it would be past dinner, and I'd be like, Mom, I'm going for a 3-hour run or a 3-mile run. I think I even did 5-10 miles sometimes. And I would come back, and I had that mindset of, I'm going to exercise my ass off and I'm going to eat anything and everything. And I was a carbo loading machine. I look back at the amount of protein I consumed, very, very minimal. And the amount of carbs was off the Richter scale, hundreds, probably 300 grams of carbs and not even 100 grams of protein. So I was doing all of this and thinking I'm balancing my shit with my exercise and it's all good. And I probably wore a size 6 to 8 at that point. Not to say that that's big, okay? But it's all relative to me. I wear probably a 0.2 now. And again, everybody is different, but I just want you to see, I don't exercise nearly as much now. I just am very, very clean with my nutrition, but I was a lot cleaner in the initial stages when I was 20, doing this, 19, 20, compared to now. I'm still pretty darn controlled with everything, but I do incorporate sushi once a week, and I'm getting the sushi rolls with the spicy mayo on top and the shrimp tempura and the whole thing. Okay, so once a week I'm doing that, and I'm having handfuls of crackers probably every day. I get at least a handful too, some tortilla chips. I'm doing all of those things sprinkled in pretty much on a daily basis, and I'm able to keep this body, but it's because I was strict in the initial stages. Okay, so again, it's all a balancing act, and I don't like to bring myself into the mix because I don't want any of you to compare yourself with my journey, but you should compare yourself to your own beginning of your journey to where you were at right now and gauge it off of that. But again, you don't need to go super strict with your approach to where you feel I can't control it. I need to have my ice cream. I need to have my cookies. I need to have this. If you're feeling like you can't do it and you're constantly thinking of these things, then you are not doing the right nutritional approach for you, because it should not be that difficult. It really should not be. We need to be focusing way more on clean ingredients, way more on the balancing of macros instead of the exact amounts, and just moving our body and sleeping. Oh my God, sleep is my favorite thing in the world. I cannot wait to go to sleep. And I know it's only 5:21 here, but I'm counting down the hours. Get me in that bed for 8 hours, please. So yeah, hopefully this sheds some light on, if you do have that mentality of, okay, I really love having my little, not so healthy meals, but it's okay because I'm killing it in the gym. Shift it. Let's find better alternatives to where you don't have to go off the deep end with the high glycemic choice and that. Okay. So, and friends, I feel like I have the beginning of a migraine, and it's because I was in the gym recording exercise routines for 5.5 hours today. Not even lying. Not even one restroom break. 5.5 hours with a videographer. And it was painful. It was painful. It was painful, friends. I'm not even going to get into it, but it's all for you. For this new app, it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be amazing. And I cannot wait for it to be done. So, okay, the last thing to wrap it up, because, you know, I deal with women all the time and I get DMs all the time. And if you have sent me a DM about coaching, I assure you within the next 24 hours, I will reach back out to you. But I could only take so much for today. I couldn't do anymore. Berberine. Let me know in the comments if you have ever heard of berberine, if you have used it. This is the one safe option in terms of like GLP-1 activators. So, you know, you've heard of Ozempic, semaglutide. That is a way to help balance blood sugar. And it also helps with, well, not Ozempic, but berberine. It's a natural occurring thing that has been studied and researched for decades, okay? Whereas Ozempic, semaglutide, it's been around for what, 2 years, maybe 3? So yes, berberine is amazing. I have transitioned many women, including some of my family members, away from Ozempic, that is hundreds of dollars a month, to berberine. And berberine it's going to help with gut health. It's going to help with blood sugar regulation. It helps with appetite. It doesn't take away your appetite, but it helps keep your appetite where it needs to be. So yes, you're hungry when your body should be consuming calories, but you're not starving. You're not feeling like, oh my God, I have this insatiable hunger. So yes, berberine, I highly, highly, highly suggest if you are frustrated in your journey and you want to add something that is 100% natural, safe, effective, you want to add that into the mix, then drop berberine in the comments after I post this, because I'm going to wrap up right now. And then I will send you the link. And they also gave me, I think it's a 20% discount code. So if you want that information, either send me a DM or drop that word in the comments and I'll send it your way. But I do have a brand and they're based in Australia. And friends, I hate to tell you, but the US, we do such a disservice to so many people, and it's so exhausting because there's very little like third-party testing, and you know, stuff isn't as clean as it is in outside of the States. So that's why I promote it's Genetic Labs of Australia. So I have a code for you guys. Have a great rest of your day. And yes, I know I love the products out of the US too. I feel like let's just all move. Let's just all move. We'll be healthier. By golly, we don't have a government trying to kill us all. All right, I'm not even going to go down that rabbit hole. But yeah, so drop berberine in the comments. I'll send you the link and have a good day.